There we are. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, everybody. Had to restart my computer and do a bunch of crap. Need to go to settings so I can sync my phone. Remote control. Click the show. Boom. We're in. We're done it. We're real. This is a real thing that's happening. Bing bong. Let's actually get everything open. Hey, me. Yep, that's right. It's me. It's your boy. League animated series. Yeah, I heard about this shit. I haven't watched the trailer. You know, that's how we'll open the stream. We'll watch the trailer. While we're waiting for people to get here, we'll watch the trailer for the series. Because I haven't seen it yet. Hashtag reactions. I just get a webcam at some point. Someone should buy me a webcam just so I can put that, so I can do that for the stream. Let's go to... Okay, this is the Rise opening. Interesting. It's about champs. I want you to guess which ones. Interesting. Well, it's called Arcane. Yes. I think Ezreal. I think Ezreal's a good guess. Wow, they really went all out. I knew it would be Piltover. I knew it would be Piltover. It has to be Piltover. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Hold on. Oh! Wait, is it Jinx in the gang? Is it Jinx and Vide, everyone? It's gotta be the gang.
I'd like to let you in on a very important secret. Power comes to those who are due
That's gotta be Vi and Jinx.
anything to achieve it.
Wow.
It's time to let the monster out.
Wow. That looks good. Yeah. It's gonna be good. I'm excited. I don't think it's about Jinx specifically. It's about many other. It'll be about other guys. But that looks cool. That's cool. That's sick, dude. I'm very excited for that. All right, let's go to here. Strong Echo Pod. They've gotta have Easter eggs. There's no way that they're gonna get through the whole game without having like a crap ton of Easter eggs. They gotta. It's just too good. Okay, I'm going to go put this pineapple away, and I'm going to get some water. Everyone, take your moment now to go get some water. It's good for you. Drink it. Go drink some goddamn water. If you do not have water next to you at this very moment, get up and go get some water. This is required for viewing the stream. You have to do this. God, this pineapple won't go the fuck on. Ah, there we go. Get some water. So the mouse that I bought today that I thought was going to be like, I don't know, $80 turned out to be like $130. And I'm just like, crap. Am I reconnected? I do not know. I cannot say for sure because my internet just went out for like a split second because I made a mistake. Okay, I think we're back. Are we back? I need y'all to tell me if we're back. Help. Are we back? I think we're back. I think we're good. All right, cool. We're back. All right. Let's play ourselves a fucking video game. Probably hide my cursor. Probably hide my cursor on these two things. Hold on. Let me fix this. Oh! I swear I'm not breaking law. Please don't think I'm breaking law. I am safe. I am not breaking rule. Chicken is good. Chicken is good, dude. Chicken is tasty. July 9th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 3. How many times have we seen 10 a.m. on this little opening thing? Man, I love this game. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, okay. To catch y'all up on what's happening for the people who weren't here, there was a show that we went to where Clavier, our German prosecutor friend, invited us for 20% off. And at the show, we met this lady, La Miroir, who is known as the siren of the ballad from the tiny country of Borginia, which is from Northern Europe. So, Sweden? I don't know. I've been kind of going with a Swedish voice for her. But she's actually not from Borginia. She's a liar. A liar and a thief. She initially said that she couldn't speak English, and that where is he? This dude was her translator. This guy's name is Romain Lettuce, which is amazing. He's the victim. He died, and he was shot by a gun that was near to his hand, also holding Clavier's keys. And she told us to speak to the siren, who's the witness. She's the siren. This is her friend, or pianist, or whatever. His name is Machi Tabai. I still don't know what the pun is. He looks like Elton John. He looks a bit like Elton John. He's 14 and is apparently the murderer. I mean, he's obviously not, but he's our defendant. Because he was around, like, he was kind of he was there, and then like the body just missed. Yeah, I know, it's sketchy. So the body went missing, and it was found on the stage with the lift gone all the way up. We had to climb a ladder to get to the top of it, and we found this guy unconscious next to this guy's body, who was splayed out, and he had his hands on Clavier's friend's guitar. This guy's guitar, and was up on the stage, and we saw like this random magician dude just around. There's a mysterious yellow boy, yeah. What else? There's one other big thing. Oh yeah, we went to go speak to our defendant, and he actually does not speak English. He cannot communicate with us, and he's 14, arrested in a foreign country, which is wholesome. Yeah, so that's where we are. That's where we're at right now. I think that's everything. I'm going to assume that's everything. Also, everything that happened that night appears to have been put in here. Clavier's keys were stolen. There has a heart-shaped keychain. His guitar burnt up. Like, they set his guitar on fire on stage, which he wasn't expecting, but whatever. Someone was shot. Guitar. guitar, the two were found up together in the sky, things like that. That's very interesting. We also got to like actually listen to them sing, and by sing I mean it played like notes and I sang over it like a fucking goddess. This thing's huge. It's like I think it's like a 45 caliber or something like that. I found a brooch that belongs to Lemuar. We found a mixing board, which we can listen to Clavier's tracks. Oh, I need to turn the sound down or my mic up. One moment. You know, I'm just gonna turn the sound down. I'm gonna turn my mic up. Hopefully that works. I'll listen to it back. I can't listen to it back right now. I'll turn the sound down as well, just to make sure. So we can listen to his song. Yeah, I know. I don't know how a 14-year-old still has shoulders after firing a 45. They even mentioned in game that firing this pistol would probably dislocate your shoulder. So I don't know, but we can listen to this. And we can also listen to like different parts. Also, this song has the most boring bass line in history. And yeah, it sucks. So keyring, let me return his badge. Okay, we're back in it. Now we're good to go. We got everyone who's not here caught up on what the case is. Here we go. Our first court thing as part of this. Whoa. Okay. Court is now in session for. How do I say that? Machi Tobai, Your Honor. The Pixie of the Arpeggio. Right, his trial. Court is in session. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is A-OK, Judge. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. Ah, my opening statement, yeah? No, actually. There was something else I wanted to ask you about. Yes? Say you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? Eh? I mean, you wouldn't say, get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them when they're down. What are you talking about? Actually, I'm going to visit someone who's terminally ill. Right after this trial, the Chief Justice's son. The Chief Justice? His son is afflicted with the most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems. Ah. So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be the order of the day. Why don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending? She's looking at me with something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking at me like that for? Plotitis. Yep. In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly. Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement, briefly. You're unlucky, Judge. I believe you'll be going on your hospital visit sooner than you think. First, to review the victims in this case, Romain Letus, age 35. Is a global manager for Diva Songstress Lemuar. The cause of death, blood loss due to her being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details. The court accepts this into evidence. Okay, I want to get rid of that. 45 caliber, that's quite large, isn't it? Profile, yeah, between 9 and 9:30, blood loss due to 45 caliber bullet wound, time elapsed between shooting and death currently under review. Only a few minutes. A direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet. So this was the picture that we got. This is what we saw. He was alive when we found him, and he spoke to us. But he was writing something here, maybe? You could maybe make out the word, like an M there, an A, a C, an H. Maybe? But we'll see. We don't know for sure yet. I imagine we'll eventually get something to do with that. However, the bullet struck him in his shoulder. The damage to the body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved. I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse, considering. Crime photo, cool. We got a photo of that. 2 shots were fired. 1 shot missed. The other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Both bullets were found in the wall at the scene. Observe the diagram. Oh, that's the door out of there. Interesting. I didn't even know that. This is where the bullet hit. I see. The court accepts as evidence. That's interesting because we were standing like right there. Wow, we got a lot of things here. We're talking about a .45 caliber revolver. We must assume that the killer was added to the weapon's use. Really? Yeah, apparently weapons that size have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body. The defense will take more care in choosing examples. As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in a dressing room. This dressing room has only one entrance, this door. That does seem to be the case, yes. However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots. He's talking about you and Emma, huh? Yet when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course. But that's impossible! Exactly. This murder was impossible. For all but one person. One person? That is, of course, the defendant, Machi Tobai. That's factually incorrect, but whatever. Sure. Only this defendant could have committed the crime, but how? It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime scene make it clear. Very well, I assume you have testimony to back up this claim. Let the witness please take the stand. Who are we? Ah, Emma! Emma, why? Emma! Emma, please! You're all I have, Emma. Your name and profession, please. Emma Sky. I'm a detective for the police department. I was on security detail at the concert forum that night. Emma seems tired somehow. Security at the concert, you say? Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder. Now don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know. I'm sure that makes her feel much better. I want to hear about these bigger mistakes. In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered, and we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please. All right. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room, filled with blaring rock music, and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it.
It was lucky that a detective was first on the scene.
But that door was the only way out of the room, right? Yeah, pretty much. Then I don't get it. How can they say that Machi did it? Looks like we need a bit more information.
Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination.
Alright, boys, here we go. Cross-examination time, everyone's favorite moments. Okay. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Yes, that is true. Only people involved in the concert in some way were allowed backstage. No? But we'll continue. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. Yeah, I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. I examined the scene, determined that the only defendant could have done it. I'm gonna start here. We were let in, though. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you. I gave the Fraulein special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again. Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now. Gee, great. Some other hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off. So no other outsiders were there then. And then... How could you know something like that? As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from the room, that door. The small window only opened a tiny crack, and I was standing in front of that door. So, how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility, the air vent. Ah! But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly? Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit through was a child. Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed. And of all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child.
The defendant?
The picture of the arpeggio flitted up towards the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime. But that's just conjecture. Oh, there was no other way out of that room. You were there. You should know our forehead. And there is another vital piece of evidence. Evidence? What? Marks were found on the air vent grill. Traces that it had recently been opened. What? And something else was found, quite clearly. The defendant matched Tobias' fingerprints. What? Dude, I mean, she's currently kicking her ass right now, but I actually love the fact that we have a defendant who isn't the complete and total moron for once. That air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, Air Forehead, what fairy tale does this suggest to you? Only one could pass through the vent, through that vent, that doorway to heaven. And that one is our pixie. Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was whooping it up in the audience. So this was his decisive evidence.
Quite decisive indeed.
I know the circumstances under which the body was found. I was there. An examination of the crime scene was enough to nail down the killer. I'm sure they have a good reason. They must have had a good reason to arrest Machi. And I'm going to find out what it was. Shit, really? Heard shots. Yikes. Where to begin? Now this is interesting. So, if we think about where the gun was fired from, like as back here. Okay, here's the theory right now. The window right here against this wall is certainly big enough to shoot the gun from. What doesn't make sense though is if he's shot from behind, right? It is unlikely, if the body fell this way, for the gun to be able to shoot a bullet into this hole. More likely to hit this hole, but not this one. He was shot from behind and must have fallen forward, so that means that the gunshot had to come from this corner. The window makes sense, but that makes it difficult for the gun wound bullet to be here. That's where it's up in the air. So there's something going on here. Rock? Blaring, yes.
When you say rock, are you referring, perhaps, to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days?
That's right, when we went to the dressing room. Music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They piped sound from the stage into the backstage to the speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage. Did it have to be so loud? You don't listen to the governors with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul. I always have the backstage monitors at full volume. When we walked in the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime.
If you could hear that music playing.
Then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi, including myself. Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. Shit. So we Beginning of the third set, I heard shot. I guess just keep going. I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots. You were the one chatting. I was eating snackies.
Hey, no snacking in court.
And you're sure the shots came from Lemuel's room? Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep you quiet. Boom. Thanks. So, how about it, Emma?
You were right. It was hard to be mistaken about that. Please, either talk or eat. Not both at the same time.
Right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door. I guess press this, just see what happens. The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes? That's right. What was the detective doing on security detail, might I ask? If it was only a concert. My thoughts exactly, but orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods. Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled some things that day, you might say. The stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall. Conspiracy? Well, isn't it obvious? My keys that whole morning, no, the whole day was ruined. And it's all because someone stole my keys. That's the first time I've seen that picture. I couldn't ride my hog to the show. I couldn't open my guitar case. There he goes again. Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them? Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hand on their own.
What's this, Prosecutor Gavin? If your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect.
What a cool dude. What a cool bro. Love. Slow acting and new. What? What does that stand for? What is, I need to know what this word is. Atrokinin. Atrokinin. Oh. It's called... Oh, I don't want to look at that. That looks like it might be spoilers. It's a drug, apparently. It's a what was it, a fast acting drug? Synthetic substance that is extremely poisonous to humans. It paralyzes the nervous system. Yikes. Is that a spoiler? Oh well, fuck it. Love, slow acting and new. Atrokinin is waiting for you. He's singing something. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top? The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was like a sailor, adrift on a sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else to be stolen, so I put the detective with the most time on their hands on this task.
I see, I can accept that.
Well, I can't. What do you mean, time on their hands?
I believe that's enough of that. The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict, even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit.
I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. So that will have to be enough. That can't be over already.
Very well, I believe this trial is finished. If the defense has no contradicting evidence...
The prosecution has presented our proof clear and plain. If you have contradicting evidence, it's better be clear and plain. Ah, Apollo, they've got us on the ropes already. We better come up with something quick. I know. Think, what can get us out of this? We need evidence or a witness that can prove Machi is innocent beyond a doubt. Without that...
Mr. Justice, do you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? If you do, you'd better tell us about it now.
This is it, and so soon. If I mess this one up, it's all over. The court wants contradicting proof? It's her dressing room. It's totally plausible for the brutes to be there. If you ask me, I think it's more likely to be La Miroir, because this guy is always next to her. Suppose I'll do just a quick save scum just in case. Can't hurt. Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there were no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely. I swear it on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller hit song, Atrakinin, my love. Here he goes again. That's too bad, because there was a witness.
Oh, really now? But how did you come to possess knowledge the prosecution clearly does not?
Because I'm the only one in the world who knows this. Besides the witness, who would know because they saw it. And, you know, fuck. What's going on? I just talked to him and now... He's alive! Mr. Lightoos, can you hear me?
Cold. So cold. Witness.
You're cold? Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Help is on the way.
Can't see.
Hang in there, Mr. Lightoos. Tell me, who was the witness?
The witness is Siren. What? The victim said this before he died?
Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not. What do you mean by that? All we know is what AF4 says he said. It's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself. But it's the truth! He said it! I even told you about it, but apparently you ignored me completely. It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly, this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job.
That's enough! Mr. Justice, we need clear contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution, I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty.
Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usual is called for?
There's no backing out now. Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice.
La Miroir. Recall Mr. Lightoos' last words. The witness is Siren.
The siren. Aha! He meant the siren.
That's right. The siren of the ballad, La Miroir. La Miroir was the only on stage for the second set. And she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness.
I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin.
My claim still stands. There was no witness to this crime.
Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We will now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please show La Miroir to the witness stand.
La Miroir would say nothing of the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag that story out of her no matter what it is. It is my distinct honor to welcome the Siren of the Ballad to our courtroom. You are too kind.
Oh, you can speak English?
Yes, I can. Though I'm not very good. There is much I do not know.
You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it. What does she mean she doesn't know? I too sought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course. What's that? La Miroir suffers from amnesia.
Amnesia?
La Miroir is not my true name. Yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage. Whoa, she's even more mysterious than I thought. As lauded singer La Miroir, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her, thanks to her success. Yet, I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress.
I see. I care surprisingly little about people's pasts. You have nothing to fear in this court, La Miroir.
Thank you. Yet there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened. La Miroir, let me be frank. Thought you were Clavier. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant as you stand. Oh my. Congratulations, Apollo. You're the bad guy. Ugh.
Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime. Here we go.
As for what I saw nothing. That night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. What I learned, well, that was where I learned that something bad had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying.
Happy was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying. There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat and refrain from detaining her here longer than need be. Wow, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go.
Very well, Justice. Keep it short and sweet.
Amiwara wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what. I saw nothing. Wait, what doesn't ring true about her testimony? It's hard to imagine Amiwara lying. She might not be lying, but she's hiding something. What wouldn't she tell me the night of the murder? Saw nothing. That's obviously sketch. I had to sing on stage, and this I did. That's totally true. Not return backstage after the second set. That's interesting. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. That was where I learned something that I wasn't told all the details. Okay, well, let's start from the beginning. I'm gonna press here first, though. I'm gonna press here, sorry. With Machi, correct? How was he then? He seemed as he always does, though I believe he was shocked by the news of Mr. Latus's death. Yet, he is not the type to show such emotion. Yes, he's given the police no end of headaches. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak nothing. The questioning hasn't gotten very far. We sat there, waiting. You did not return backstage once? Where were you then? What were you doing? I was cleaning up on stage. There are many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing. And was Machi with you at the time? Unfortunately, I do not know where he was. So much for an alibi for Machi. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the beginning here. But you must have seen something. Mr. Latus named you. Mr. Latus? How can I tell you what I don't know? Amiwara! He said that you were a witness with his dying words. I do not know what he meant to say, but that night... It was a great concert. You heard me sing? Thank you. I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually. Of course.
Mr. Justice, this is a cross-examination. You're out of line. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. One on my gavel would be nice.
Judge.
What's this?
It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving.
What? Oh, my grandchild will be so happy.
Apparently his grandson is a big fan. Let us continue, shall we? If you would, Amiwara. Tell us what you did after the stellar performance. How was the incident explained to you? I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Latus died.
Of course, investigations require some security.
But Mr. Latus is my manager! I wanted to know more. I should have been told. Both Machi and I were beside ourselves with concern. Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Keeping you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you. Yes, I understand. Hey, what doesn't ring true? Okay. Woo, boy. Okay. So we gotta present something. I think you're right. I think you might be right with the brooch. Nice, cool. Objection! I'm sorry, Lemuel, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you not? Why is that Lemuel? She was wearing it for her song. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin? Ooh, here we go. Kick it up, boys. We going. What? This brooch was found after the murder took place, at the very scene of the crime. What? Lemuel, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night. Ever exhale so hard that your veil flips?
What is the meaning of this? Lemuel, please explain.
Lemuel? Oh, shit. She says English is quite difficult. That trick's not gonna work here. Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact. What now? In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. What? Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak. Is she really saying all that? What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. Ah! Is she talking about that? Watch this room for me. I have to call for backup. Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Mr. Latus, can you hear me?
Cold, so cold. Witness.
You're cold? Don't worry, you're going to be fine. Help is on the way.
The witness is siren.
Siren? How can a siren witness anything? Emma? What was that? Who's there? What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now? Huh? No? I could have sworn I heard a door close. Just a glance, mind you. So this was when your brooch dropped. That explains that. It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it. But that's ridiculous! You only looked in for an instant, but you dropped your brooch? Her forehead. She has raised a possibility. The only thing that counts as that is evidence.
So she looked into the crime scene.
Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice.
Her forehead shouting, "Who's there?" No doubt.
A horrible voice indeed. Ugh. I closed the door immediately.
Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony.
That's too convenient. She's hiding something. Lemuel, you did look into the room though, right? Yes. Testify as to what you saw. Very well, although it was only the briefest of glimpses. I think we got her. Whoa! We got something. Oh! Oh! Oh, now it's open to us. A wall? Was there a wall there? Is what in English? Is oh Jesus, I can't get this right. Is what in English? I'm just gonna go with German. Fuck it. A division or partition, I believe. It was a large dressing room divided into two halves. And the murder took place in the inside half. I guess that partition might have hidden the body. Let's go for it, boys.
Oh, I'm coming for you, motherfucker.
Oh, that's... Wow, that's touchy. Haha, I got it. Mouth. Wow. I like this a lot. I love this. I love this. This is awesome. I saw nothing. The late Mr. Oh, yeah. Gotcha! Gotcha! You may have seen the world, but I've seen your heart. You were flustered during your testimony just now. I do not understand what it is you are trying to say. Perhaps this is a joke in your culture? She doesn't seem very flustered to me, Apollo. I'm once more against the Phoenix Wright community? It's fun, man! Maybe I got that one wrong. I have to look harder. What? 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 Wait, what? What? Look! Look! Wait, but what? Look how bad it's what? What am I missing? But do I have to like find a different part of her body? I can't go any farther down. We're at the center it more. Gotcha! Oh, was her neck? I mean, fuck all y'all. I still got it. The late Mr. Latus's body, you say? Yes. You know something more about Mr. Latus's death than you were saying. What? I could see you trying not to remember, but the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes. It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latus have to be shot? One moment, Lamoire. Yes? What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latus have to be shot? Yes. She was hiding something. I knew it. Lamoire, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony. Eh? How could that be? Take this. Lamoire contradicted her own testimony, and I have the evidence to prove it. Where do I... Oh, that's glitchy. I think this? Do not misunderstand the meaning of contradict. Okay. What's the evidence? Why did Mr. Latus have to be shot? I know. Yeah, the fact that she's shot. What's the right evidence here? No? Again? God damn it, man. No? Again. Wow, I just blew 3 things. Let's just roll in here real quick. Well, yeah, obviously it's that. Like, we don't know how he was shot, but I don't know what the evidence I have to... What? What? Really? 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 That was it? That fucking... Really? Really? That was it? That was the one? Oh my god. That's frustrating. That's definitely frustrating. That one made me a little frustrating. That made me a little frustrated. Yikes. That's... God damn it. Yeah, right? What the hell? Dude, I really like this game so far, but every once in a while it just does something that's so stupid. It's like, why? Tell me, Lamiwar, how did you know he had been shot? Well, Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, no one told me anything about the incident. Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Letus had been shot. How could you have known? Yawork? Whoa! Is that normal? Yeah, it's normal. Is she gonna go evil? Is she gonna go evil? Let's see if she goes evil.
Lamiwar, you aren't hiding something from this court, I hope.
The sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet. Now I remember. Please allow me to add to my testimony. Of course. All we want to know is the truth. She looks kind of pale, huh? She saw something. She saw something. I know it. Even the victim said so. How much do you want to bet she becomes evil? I'll take $400. Only a glimpse, yet you knew they were bullet holes. Yes, I recognized them immediately. I have seen bullet holes before, you know. You have traveled the world as a singer. You must have sung in places far more dangerous in our country. I go wherever my voice is needed. Those places are many these days. That's really cool. I hope I get to travel like Lamiwar someday. I plan on recording my next album overseas. Their studios have a different sound, you know. Maybe I should go on a Chords of Steel tour too. Okay, that was useless. Door opens inward. You're right. I just saw that. Lamiwar, they call you the siren of the ballad, but lies are hardly becoming of such a creature.
A put-down worthy of a prosecutor, Mr. Justice.
Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo. Stop polishing your forehead and stop polishing your character, yeah? Come on, can't I just be cool for once? Observe the diagram. Lamiwar, you looked in from the door for just a moment, correct? Yes, that is so. There were bullet holes in the room, yes, but they were in the wall the door is on. You see, assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't have seen those bullet holes. Woo!
Lamiwar?
Yes?
I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you've been holding back something.
And I must tell you what it is that I saw.
Yes. The happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Virginia. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it.
Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing. But she knew how Mr. Letus died, and he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lemuel.
Very well. Lemuel, please continue your testimony.
Very well, I shall. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown person. I know it was.
So you did witness the crime, and the killer was a grown person, you say?
Ah, this is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play, Ford.
Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your cross-examination.
Great going, Apollo. You were right about Lamiwar. What's wrong? You don't look too happy. This whole thing smells fishy. That's what's wrong. She's the murderer. She has to be. Maybe. I don't know. Could she be? I don't know. I was on my way from the stage to the back exit. There was something like a little window there. As I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown person. I know it was. What exactly is something like a little window? Yes, well, window is the best word I know in English. I think this is how it is said, yes?
You need not worry, Lemuel.
Oh, Jesus, whoa. You need not worry, Lemuel. Your choice of words is impeccable. There is a small window in the dressing room in question. Perhaps the defense remembers this detail. A little window on the wall. I saw the crime from there. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. You are certain you heard 2 shots fired? Yes, quite certain. I was on my way to the backstage exit. This was when I heard a faint sound, like a gunshot. Wondering what it had been, I peered through the window. That is when I heard the second gunshot, much closer. There were 2 bullet holes in the scene, no contradiction so far. It all happened on the other side of that window. There was nothing I could do. It wasn't Machi who shot. Are you sure? Yes, quite certain. It amuses me that you would question her testimony. It is testimony in your favor. Isn't it my job to object? Yeah, Paula, what were you thinking? Trucy, let's just listen to what Lamiwar has to say. Can you tell me how you were so sure? Yes, of course. You see. A grown person. That's a little vague. I'm sorry. My skill with your language is lacking, I know.
Certainly you could at least say whether the shooter was male or female.
It was a man, a young man.
And you're sure of that?
Yes, his voice was quite clear. Voice?
Interesting. Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing room was quite cluttered. It does seem likely that you wouldn't have had a clear view of the shooter.
As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man. So you heard their voice, but wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Letus? Absolutely not. Did I not just say that I do not forget a voice? If it was Mr. Letus who spoke, I would have known.
Indeed. So you were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice, the voice of a young man.
Apollo, this is a good testimony. That proves it wasn't Machi.
Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it would cast this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense's opinion of this testimony? Is it contradictory? It is. I hate to say it, but it is. They weren't closer, but there is another thing that was going on in here. There was a fuck ton of really loud music playing at the time. Though it pains me to say this, there's something about Lamiwar's testimony that rings false. Bravo, Forehead! You're colder than I thought. Sure you remember what the problem is as well as I do, Gavin. As has been established, no grown man could pass through that air vent. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime. But that means Lamiwar has to be lying. I mean, or that. I mean, that's what I thought. I was just putting on a show for the audience at home. Fuck. I know, and I know it's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Believe me, the idea was tempting. It is as Forehead says. Yet, this is not the only contradiction within our testimony. But what next? What is he talking about? Lamiwar, I understand why you would want to protect Machi. Yet remember, you are the siren of the ballad. And lies do not become such a creature. What does the prosecution mean? Apollo, what's he talking about? How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that? I recall the state of the crime scene quite well. The state of the room? Yes, and when the murder took place, that window was closed. Find it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it. But I'm sure. Lamiwar, I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical sense, but my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser. But she's the only eyewitness we have. So you say, and the victim named her, the siren, as the witness. That's right, that's what Mr. Laketus... We heard your claim. We even entertained the possibility, and it brought us to this. Judge. Yes? The prosecution requests that the witness be excused. Please. I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. There is indeed a question of the witness's credibility. But if Lamiwar can't testify, then we don't have a chance of proving Machi's innocence. This cross-examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin, you may continue making your case. Danke. Now, very. Yes, I would like to hear from Fraulein Detective again. Wait! Let me hear Lamiwar's testimony one last time. But the cross-examination is already over. Until such a time as the need arises, this witness may leave the stand. I'm sorry I could not be of more assistance. Fuck. Shit. At last, back to the real trial. Ready, Forehead? I hope I didn't just miss my only chance. Fraulein Detective, how far had we gotten until we were so rudely interrupted? Don't ask me. I dislike saying the same thing twice, and I never repeat the song for an encore. If you would, Miss Sky. I believe I was saying that the only way Mr. Laketus's killer could have escaped was through that air vent on the ceiling. Ah, yes. There was only one door in the room, and the witness, you say, was standing in front of it. That air vent isn't very big, see? Kind of limits the people who could possibly get through. I certainly would have had a difficult time. You sure would. Not that you would have been there in the first place, though. Remember, the whole backstage area was off limits to people not involved with the concert. The only one who meets the conditions for our killer is the defendant. Yeah, no, I know. There's... Got it. Yellow boy shot the gun through the window. Lamiwar meant to go in through that door. Okay. There's no closet. Lamiwar meant to go in through that door after the gun went off because no one was supposed to be backstage. Apollo wasn't supposed to be backstage, but he declined because he didn't want to hear the music because it was too loud for him. And Emma was supposed to be backstage because she was hired that very day. So it was Lamiwar who opened the door, but she already knew about the gunshots because she was part of that plan with Yellow Boy. A virtuoso performance I couldn't have put it better myself. Should I state a clear case? Though by reading the report, something caught my eye. Oh, what's that? The circumstances of the defendant's arrest. Circumstances? Again? Yeah, that's right, Apollo. Remember when we found Machi? That was bizarre. She's right. Why did Mr. Letus's body disappear from the room? This is what we were talking about earlier, how we found him. So, he appears to be unconscious and Mr. Letus is holding the guitar. Which, by the way, super fucky. End up on top of that stage tower, holding a guitar, no less. A perceptive observation now, Judge. Oh, no, thanks. It was kind of an accident, really. But you work on this job long enough, you get a nose for things. The judge sure seems pleased with himself. Very good, frowning detective. Perhaps you can tie it all together first. Why was the body moved? How does that lead us to the killer? I believe Machi stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match Let Me War song. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim, and Machi practically left his signature at the scene. All of this evidence clearly points to the defendant. Let Me War's song? Yes, the guitar Serenade. You noticed it's code too, did you not? It's code? I was the one who... Whatever. All of the events that day followed the lyrics to our song. Sugar, sugar. Oh, that... No, I'm not gonna do it. First, the keys my heart held onto so tightly were stolen. Then Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames on... Then Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames on stage. Mr. Letus's life was taken by a bullet. The rest hardly needs explanation. Guitar, guitar, up together to the sky. That's mad. It's like a story out of some fairy tale. I admit I'd forgotten about the song, but there it is now, waiting for me, the grand finale, as it were. Hey, I was the one who first noticed that. I've heard of jumping rope to songs and counting the... Oh, Jesus, I've heard of jumping rope to songs and counting the songs, but killing? It's a wild word out there, Judge. Very well. We've heard one song and dance. Let's get on to the next. The cross-examination. Not so sure I'm going to be doing much singing. Oh, fucking hell. Here we go. I believe Machi stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match Let Me War song. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim. Machi read. What do you mean by his signature? The bullet holes in the wall, of course. The bullet holes? The revolver was fired twice. One shot missed and left a hole in the wall. And that means what exactly? That dressing room isn't exactly spacious. Picture the shooter facing off with the victim in there. They can't have been more than 5 feet apart. It would be difficult, almost impossible, to miss at that range. Difficult to miss, you say? Very. Assuming the shooter could properly aim. No, you can't be serious. Machi, he can't see. That's why he missed. It's the only explanation that makes sense. He used sound and other senses to fire the gun. Poorly. That reminds me, the monitor in that room was blaring at the time, yeah? Hardly ideal conditions for tracking by sound. A blind shooter. No wonder he missed. I knew those bullet holes would come back to haunt me. Sure, there were bullet holes left in the wall. But that doesn't prove the shooter couldn't see. Oh, how so? Well, there could have been a struggle with the victim. That's certainly possible. Also, if he fucking shot the gun, he would have fucking died. And it might have been the revolver's fault. The revolver? The revolver is a very large caliber, correct? If the shooter wasn't used to firing such a large weapon, why, it could dislocate their shoulder. Exactly. The defendant, Machi Tobai, is, as you say, tiny. It's not so hard to picture him firing the gun and missing entirely, and then having his fucking arm blown off. The kickback alone would throw off his aim. And his arm! It would throw off his arm! A convincing argument, to be sure. Ha! Take that, smug prosecution. Apollo? Huh? What? The bit about Machi being tiny? And the gun throwing off his aim? Aren't you kind of, admitting that he did it? Oh. It does not matter why he missed. What matters is that the shooter was, without a doubt, his defendant. Even the defense seems to agree on that point. I really put my foot in it this time. But let's get the facts of the matter on the record. If you would, Frowling Detective. Very well, the witness will add this to a testimony. Right. State of the crime scene, I concluded the shooter was blind. You can't say he was blind just because of those bullet holes in the wall. I think I've proven that. I wouldn't call it proof, per se. Huh? You've merely raised a possibility. The Frowling Detective has made a most logical conjecture based upon the evidence. Of course, there's more evidence than just bullet holes. The defendant was the only one who could have escaped through the air vent. But wait, if he was blind, how would he know about the air vent in the first place? Ah, very good point. Well, Frowling Detective, if you would care to explain. Certainly seems sure of himself. Recall the crime scene, if you will. There was a stepladder below the air vent. As it happens, maintenance was scheduled for that day. Custodial staff went around checking all the air vents. I don't believe it. Everyone backstage was told about the maintenance, including Machi Tabai. He would have known that there would be a way out at the top of that stepladder. But that's... Why is this the first time I'm hearing about this? You could have figured it out for yourself. You only needed to consider what that stepladder was doing there. Looks like the defense's objection has been squished by a stepladder. Well avoid. Out of ammunition, perhaps? I've never seen Prosecutor Gavin so aggressive. Maybe he's caught the scent of blood. Paula, don't you have something? Anything? You know what we need. We need something to prove the killer could see. That'll put him in his place. Proving the shooter was sighted would do it. That would take down one of their central points. Do I have any evidence that could prove that, though? Yes, let's forge evidence. I think that, because he was shot in the back, it appears. Also, the blood was wiped out. Yeah. We don't know what the motive is. Fine. I accept the prosecution's challenge. As I knew you would, Forehead. What exactly am I up against here? The prosecution is saying the shooter missed because he or she couldn't see. Therefore, Machi, who's blind, did it. The defense will please present their evidence. Evidence that overturns the prosecution's claim that the shooter couldn't see. This is that evidence! The photograph of the crime scene. I don't care much for the smirk on Prosecutor Gavin's face, but this is no time to think twice. Time to press on. Yes, Your Honor, the crime scene. There is something in here that decisively contradicts the prosecution's point. So perhaps you'd best show us this something. Get your finger out of the breeze and put it to good use, yeah? God, the music for this game is awesome! Very well, show us what you're talking about, Mr. Justice. Contradiction at the scene of the crime is... The contradiction is right here. The smear bloodstains? I thought it was just my blurry vision, but it really was blurry. The way the victim's hand is raised above his head, much like a gesture I've seen many times in this court.
It's almost as if he wrote something. Aha! I get it! At least, I think I get it.
Get what, Fraulein?
When Mr. Latus was shot, he tried to write something. And what would he write but the shooter's name? And what would he write it in but his own blood? Pretty good, huh? Thanks for making my point for me. Yes, in fact, that's what I think happened here.
But there seemed to be a distinct possibility.
The victim wrote the killer's name. It's certainly a logical conclusion. Drat, I just wish it wasn't all rubbed out like that.
Of course it's rubbed out. Why, if I were a killer, I certainly wouldn't want to leave my own name behind.
Neither would I. No one has anything else to say?
About what?
So the prosecution accepts this. You agree that this was the victim making an attempt to record the name of the killer, and that the killer tried to rub the name out. What's your point? What's my point? Let me ask you this. How did the killer know the victim was writing their name?
Well, Mr. Latus was writing something in blood once the killer saw what it was. Wait.
Once he saw what it was?
But what did you just testify about the shooter?
I said they were blind.
Ah! Yet the crime scene itself contradicts that. The killer had to have been able to see. Why would they rub out the name in blood otherwise? May I remind the court that the defendant, Matthew Tobias, is blind. He couldn't have been the shooter. Impossible!
Prosecutor Gavin, please explain to me what this all means.
There's the snide little shit.
I mean, looking at this photo, it seems quite clear that the shooter could see. Yet up until now...
It seems I owe the court an apology. The governors are a band with law enforcement ties, yet murder occurred during our concert. Apparently this caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, some reports were not filed in an entirely timely manner. I'm not sure I like the vibe that I'm getting here. Forging evidence, gotta love it, I love forging evidence.
Hey, Apollo, look at him. Why is Prosecutor Gavin all relaxed and smiling like that? Like he knows something we don't. He's about to tell us.
I've got an idea. Let's rock. These documents. But before that, I have a question for the Fraulein detective, if I may.
What?
Tell me, why do you think that Matthew Tobias is blind?
Huh?
What did he say?
What are you saying? Of course he's blind.
Of course.
He's the blind penis, right? So he's... Doesn't Lemmy want to lead him around by the hand all the time?
No way. I have a report here on the defendant, Matthew Tobias. According to this, Matthew Tobias can see perfectly well.
What?
His blindness was merely a publicity ploy by those clever Virginians. He can see quite well. But you said... What did I say exactly? Your forehead, not once in the course of this trial have I claimed the defendant was blind. The only one who did was Fraulein detective. But that's a significant fact, yes. Consider Matthew Tobias sees, and he was the only one who could have fled through the event. I see no problems with this.
But what about the bullet holes in the wall?
Yes, the bullet holes. I believe our forehead neatly explains those for us. He didn't miss because he couldn't see. It was the kickback from the 45 caliber revolver that would have blown his fucking arm off. In a simple accident, in other words. Ugh. How's that? I'm afraid your objection has just flown off for brighter skies. This is where the real fun begins, our forehead. Wow, holy shit. Holy shit, that was... okay. Wow, I'm actually impressed. Woo! Woo, we got played like a fucking fiddle. Dude, I love Gavin. He's definitely rocketing. He's definitely rocketing up in my rankings in terms of prosecutors. I love this dude. He's way... I find him more interesting than Godot, personally. He's just more playful, which I love. I knew you didn't have what it took.
You jerk! Just what was I in here for? Comic relief? Yeah, apologize! Oh, sorry. That's no way to apologize. He's angered the Trucy now, look out.
If we could please end the bickering now.
Whatever, I'm not leaving. I can't leave like this. I'll come up with some clue to solving this case if it kills me.
Yeah, testimony. But your testimony has already given us enough to convict the defendant.
Oh, don't say that. Aha! Aha what? This bloodstain. The criminal tried to wipe it off, right? That seems to be what happened, yes. We might be able to find out what was really written here. Really? You can do that? That's right, with this. It's called luminol. Maybe you know of it. It's a chemical that reacts to blood. Ah, yes. Have we done those tests yet? Ha! As if I'm going to tell you. The bloodstain cover a section of the carpet. In order to perform blood tests, the section was removed and submitted. Perhaps we should request it here in court now. I suddenly really don't want this to come up with Matchy. Right, go for it, Apollo. Oh, I have to do the test? You just have to spray the luminol on it. Simple. Luminol is a white to pale yellow crystalline solid that's soluble in most polar organic solvents but insoluble in water. Forensic investigators use luminol to detect trace amounts of blood at crime. Chemical that reacts to blood. I've heard of this somewhere.
Yes, believe an analysis is called for. Have at it.
Woo! Right, ready? It's easy as pie. Just sets the screen to spray an area. Here, give it a try. Has an entire quarter focused on me. Paula, your hand's shaking. Let's do this. Whoa. Not what I expected. Wow, it really works. This must be the power of science. It says IPXX314206. Do we by chance have something like that? I don't think so. So it's got to be IP. So the X's are blanks. And it's got to be so it's IP blank 314206. Do the numbers translate to anything? If we flip it upside down, we get G O S A I E. It does work. I don't think it makes any sense though. Goes there. Yeah, it doesn't make no. The letters work out, but I don't think it works that way. Flip it on its head. It's interesting that we got like a lowercase I here. Yeah, like if we flip it upside down. So I mean, let me write this out on my paper. I wish I could show it to you guys, but like I can't, obviously.
God, it might. It might work out. It just doesn't. It almost works. It almost works. It really does. I think it works enough for it to be worth considering in the future.
Is that the killer's name?
Maybe it is if the killer were a robot.
Aha, I have it. So what is it? I thought those letters IBXX looked familiar. This is an Interpol ID number. Interpol, you mean the International Police Agency? Yes, most are undercover agents working to solve international crimes, but why would he write that number? Why would Mr. Laytus even know a number like that? Good show, Fraulein Detective. Rock on. Ah? Your Honor, we can verify this number immediately. Darian, are you there? Come up to the witness stand. Ooh. Oh, I don't like this. Darian, you heard what we need. Go check into this Interpol ID number. Sure thing. Give me 30 minutes. No, give me 27. I don't know what to do for his voice. I presumably he's from like Persia or something.
I'm not sure what to think of all of this.
Darian. Trying not to spoil myself, to see if I can know where he's from. I just want to find out where he's from. I don't know where he's from.
Prosecution's case is airtight, or so it seems. If this number is really that of an Interpol agent.
Oh wait, I know. What if Matthew Tobias is really an undercover Interpol agent?
That would be a possibility.
A possibility, yes. And one that would mark him as the killer for certain.
Why didn't Laytus know the Interpol Dorian scale and crescendo? Why didn't Laytus know an Interpol ID number? That's what I want to know. Well, we have some time while we wait for Darian's report. Let's work on unraveling another mystery, shall we? A curious mystery concerning Machi Tobai. Can someone please tell me what Machi Tobai means? It's gotta mean something. It's gotta be some sort of pun. What are you talking about? Fraulein Detective, please accept my apologies. I received words that the defendant could, in fact, see just before the trial began. It seemed too much of a bother to tell you. You had me until that last bit. Does this not raise a rather straightforward question? Well, sure. Why did Matthew pretend he couldn't see? Exactly. It makes little sense. What do you think, Erford? Huh? Me? Matthew Tobai pretended he was blind. Do you know why? How could he know? Wait, Prosecutor Gavin knows why, doesn't he? He's known from the start of the trial. He's been leading us on the whole time. Something wrong? Do you think perhaps this is all some kind of game? Knows at the moment I heard that report, I knew why.
I suppose people who've sold over 1 million records really are something else.
What does that have to do with anything?
There was a reason why Matthew Tobai pretended to be blind, but it wasn't for his own sake. Getting the picture now?
Wasn't for himself?
Well, Mr. Justice, can you present evidence that shows us why the defendant had to feign blindness?
That's fucking bullshit, by the way. He just admitted to knowing why. Why do we have to... Fuck you. Dick. Dick judge, you fucking gay... No, it's not. I don't approve of calling someone gay just because they're an asshole. But he is an asshole. Just want to know. I just want everyone to know that he's an asshole. I think that. Honestly, I don't feel safe enough in order to not do this.
but I think I have evidence. Machi had no reason to pretend he couldn't see. Which means, no, it couldn't be. Good show, forehead. It seems you've thought of something. How can I figure these things out on my own? I hate having to take my cues from this guy. Very well. Look at this. This is why he was pretending he couldn't see.
That is Lamiwar.
Lamiwar and Machi to buy. Recall their relationship. In particular, their unique arrangement over the years before visiting our country. Lamiwar and her pianist, they would always walk together, she leading him by the hand. Even when they got on stage, she would lead him to the piano. She would walk all the way over there with him. That's right, because he was blind. She led him at all times, never letting him go.
All times?
Yet we have just learned something that makes their arrangement peculiar indeed. Machi could see. Why did they have to keep up this act the whole time?
Well, wasn't it part of their performance?
I think there's a simpler explanation. Machi did not need to be led by the hand at all. That can only mean one thing. Really? Really. It was all the other way around. The one who needed to be led by the hand was Lamiwar.
Well, what's this? So you mean to say that Lamiwar is...
She's... Yes, Your Honor. Lamiwar is blind. No? No? I don't... What? No. No. But... That's not... But... We would know? We should know... No, I don't think this is Case 3 syndrome, personally. But... No. What?!
This is crazy, Prosecutor Gavin.
Is it now?
Please shed some sanity on this madness. The defense has made an outrageous claim.
The only thing outrageous I see about the defense is this vast forehead. Yet I see it is not vast in veins this time. He's quite correct.
But that makes no sense.
Yeah, wasn't he supposed to be the landscape painter in sound or something? Well, since we have her here, why not ask Lamiwar herself? I believe she is still in the witness waiting room. Apollo, what does this mean for our case? Don't ask me, I had no idea she couldn't see. I hadn't even imagined it until now. It's also bullshit!
Bailiff, bring in Lamiwar.
Lamiwar, it pains me deeply to call you before us again in this way. And yet I must. Please do not be concerned on my behalf. Those eyes, she really can't see? Really? It's true. How funny it is that the tiny lie born in the Bojinian countryside will one day go to entangle the entire world.
So you are?
Yes, as mentioned before, I have no memory of the time before I became Lamiwar. Know too that my memories begin in darkness. The word light has no meaning for Lamiwar.
I see.
May you recall me saying something towards the beginning of this trial there for him? What's that? I believe I said it was unfortunate this crime had no direct witnesses. Ah. Now Lamiwar, I must ask you to stand once more. Will you testify to the court about your eyes? Of course. It was never my intention to deceive any of you. May I begin, Your Honor?
Ah, yes, of course.
Just yeet something at her.
though I admit I'm a little lost here.
I think we're all a bit lost here, Your Honor. I've no memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. So silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others.
This is fucking... If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a lawsuit.
But this is a murder trial.
I apologize, it was part of my contract, you see. I was to keep my blindness a secret no matter what. Music is everything for me. I never imagined something like this would. She told us the truth since the beginning. When she said she saw nothing.
Very well, does the defense have anything to add?
Fuck. This is a big old fuck right now, I gotta say. I'd like to cross-examine. But why? What is there left to ask? There was one thing in her testimony that bothered me. Perhaps it is best if we let you get it out of your system. Someday you'll come to understand the importance of thinking for yourself. I need to change my... I need to take these headphones off. They're bothering my ears. Also, I need to stop doing this judge voice. Holy capoly, dude.
Very well, the judge may proceed. Very well. Be aware that this court will not tolerate any questions deemed too stressful to the witness.
Okay. There's only one part that bothered me. Just let me ask about that and I'll be happy. That miroir's eyes. No, we don't have access to it. A new memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. The producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. So these may sound I had pretended to see. My staff knew, of course, but the others. Why would he know? Fuck. Suppose that's her confession of sorts. There's just one part that bothers me. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I don't know if that holds up. I don't know if it holds up because we've kind of thrown it out the window, but... Okay, so there's only 2 cases in which we've known that he knew, quote-unquote. There's only 2 cases in which he's referenced anyone being blind. The first case, it was Machi Tobai. And he didn't tell us. The second case was during the confession just before his death, which I don't think people... I don't think people would tell us. But he wouldn't tell us, but he wouldn't tell random civilians that that it was the other way around. Or, no, he would tell us that it was the other way around. I don't know. I don't think it's that. The memory of the light. Lead in a world of darkness and sound. Perhaps your music reminded him of the Virginian scenery? Aha, no, it was quite the opposite. The opposite? According to my producer, my music has a certain global quality. Global? Multicultural, if you will, not dependent on one region. When people listen to it, they picture the country closest to their hearts. Which is why my music has reached so many. What a lovely story! Sounds like this producer may have known what he was doing after all. My songs are nothing more than a white canvas. To me, is a real landscape painter as a listeners. When I think of that, I do not mind how I am represented to the world so much. Yet one thing quickly led to another. When you say your staff, do you include Mr. Latus? Of course, he was my manager. So he knew, and that's what's been bugging me.
Something the matter, Mr. Justice? I believe I know what is bothering our young defense attorney. You are thinking of when you discovered the body, yes? Is he right, Apollo? Yes, I was. He's alive, yada yada, we already just done this. Witness. Cold witness? Can there be a cold witness? Can't see. Hang in there, Mr. Letus. Tell me who is the witness. Witness is Siren. Mr. Letus told me to ask the witness and he named you. Why would he do that? He knew you were blind. I don't know. What did I just say? You need to learn to think for yourself. Meaning what? There is no mystery here if you recall everything he said. Think of his last words once more. The witness, Siren. We've heard them many times along with a little play acting by our defense. I remember them well myself, but that statement is not to what I refer. I mean what he said before that. Before? What came before that? Ah! That's right, he tried to tell you. When he said can't see, he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about the witness. I see. Too bad the defense did not. Well, forehead. Try relaxing and looking at the facts first next time. Recall Lamiwa's earlier testimony. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But she couldn't have heard those gunshots. I thought we'd prove that. That is not the most important point here. The moment he was shot, Mr. Letus witnessed her through that window. Why else would he have named her as a witness? But I really did hear them. 2 gunshots and the man's voice. Unfortunately, such a thing was impossible. The window was closed. We have already run a simulation, of course. But it was so clear. If I'd heard that voice again, I would know it in an instant. Your Honor! What is it, bailiff? Can't you see we're in session here? We have the results back from the investigation. The investigation? Ah, the Interpol numbers that Mr. Letus left us. Well, let's hear it. We will continue this cross-examination afterward. Detective Crescendo, your report, please. I asked Interpol about that number. I'm sure you'll find their answer intriguing. Quick work as always, Diane. Well, tell us about the number. Is the defendant a secret agent? IPXX314206. The agent registered under this number was Romain Letus. What? An undercover Interpol agent was Mr. Letus himself. He was apparently in the middle of an operation. So when he wrote those letters, he was trying to tell us his own identity, and a cautious killer tried to wipe them away. Mr. Letus was an undercover Interpol agent? So him being Lemiroir's manager was just a cover, most likely. There was one other important detail I found. Well, out with it. It concerns that 45 caliber revolver. Oh, Jesus Christ. It concerns that 45 caliber revolver, the murder weapon. Apparently, it belonged to Romain Letus. He had an Interpol permit to carry firearms. The registration number on the revolver matched. So the victim was killed with his own weapon, which makes sense. It's hard to imagine someone who wasn't an Interpol agent with such a large revolver. So the victim was an Interpol agent on an undercover op. I wonder how that ties into everything. It's got to tie in somehow, you'd think. Yeah, somehow. Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescent. It's a great help. Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out. Flavia. Oh! Wait! La Miroir, is something the matter? That voice just now.
Dayan. Mr. Dayan, is it? It was him. I am sure of it.
It was him?
You aren't saying. That voice I heard talking to Mr. Letus when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Dayan.
Is this some kind of joke? What? No way.
The courtroom fell into such a chaotic state that trial had to be suspended temporarily. I'd never seen that happen before. Of course, it's not every day that you get an accusation like that one. Lamiroir fingering Darian Crescend. Not only is he a guitarist, he's a detective. How dare she finger her? Could it really have been his voice Lamiroir heard? Things were changing fast, and frankly, I wasn't sure I could keep up with it. Hey, no wimping out now, Apollo! To be continued. Holy shit. Okay. So I'm going to be leaving it off there for tonight for 2 reasons. 3 reasons. First of all, it's a great stopping point. Second of all, my voice is starting to get fucking shot. 4 reasons. Third of all, I'm hungry. Well, I don't know. The hungry part's not as important. And fourth of all, I'm going to be probably streaming all week because I don't have anything else to do with my life. I don't stream. I don't raid. So yeah, I'm probably going to be streaming most of the week. So we'll do shorter chunks this week while still streaming. We'll try to stream like every day or something. That being said, since voices aren't super important, Nick, do you want to do We Were Here Together? Just putting it out there? Just, okay. I don't have to do voices for that. I'm going to be uploading it afterwards anyways, so you can always just tune in for it. Plus, I need to upload the raw footage, so everything's going to be uploaded in time. Now was the idea. If it waits till tomorrow, then whatever. I'm just trying to just figure. I mean, I want to do it ideally, but it's up to Nick. Just putting that forward. It's not something I have to do voices for, so it's easier on the voice. Hayden, says Dino. Wait a second. Oh my god. Hi, Aaron. You kind of missed most of the show. That's all right. I don't know who would what. Wait. Who was that person earlier? I thought the person earlier was you. Ben Hall, just on like a separate account. That's awkward. I don't know who that is. Awkward. Yeah. So, unfortunately... Oh, don't say that. Oh. Don't tell me that. Now you're making me want to continue. I feel bad now. Oh... Shit. I'm conflicted. Okay. The stream will be uploaded and all my videos are there if you by chance want to just go in and watch some old stuff. I am going to be streaming tomorrow is the plan. Same time, 7 o'clock. So if you're not busy, feel free to come along. I have every intention of streaming tomorrow, assuming nothing gets in the way. But thank you for coming along nonetheless. Does mean a lot. Thank you everyone for coming in general. Tomorrow we're going to find out what the ever-loving fuck just happened.
because that's super sketchy. Because Darian is a sketchy boy. Yeah. Oh, wait a second. Okay. This is just before we leave. So the whole problem was that Darian messed up his part. So what if Darian, who was playing in the third act, was not actually Darian, and it was a sub who was the magician dude? Which is also why Darian will be arguing so much for him to have not messed up his part. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, we'll see. Tomorrow we'll find out, won't we? Thank you, everyone, for coming along. It's always fantastic to stream for you guys. I will be streaming tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And we're going to find out what happens. Thank you, everyone, for coming along. I hope you have a wonderful night. Past, present, and tomorrow. Future, whatever. I'm tired, man. Thank you, everyone, for coming along. Have a good night, everybody. And see you tomorrow.